As thousands of students across North America are confronted with anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias, a group of students sat with Israeli politician and human rights activist Natan Sharansky in Jerusalem to consider solutions.
And when 7th of October happened, the reaction, well, you know, it's better than me. We were absolutely shocked, of course, by our own failure on the 7th, but we were shocked by what happened on the 8th, when in so many universities it was celebrated as the beginning of the revolution against colonialism, against the last remnant of colonialism.
October 7th was a transformative experience as a university student. And my Israeli identity has always been the most important thing about me. I don't know who I would be without it, especially in Canada, growing up with both sides and having such a strong identity tie to Israel while still being so proud and strong within my community in Canada. And October 7th, it was a time of grieving at first. It was a time where our entire world completely turned upside down. And to this day, it's never really gone right side up.
October 7th for me was a big pivoting point and really eye-opening for the world that we live in today, both in Israel, in the Middle East in general, and in the United States on college campuses. One of my dear friends was in the Otif Aza, in the Gaza envelope during that day, and the whole day she was texting us from the safe room. I hear shooting, I hear people screaming, like I have no food, I have no water, and luckily she was saved, but she was stuck in the safe room for 16 hours, and I think it still impacts her to this day. And I also have friends who are hostage families and are still waiting for their loved ones to come home, and I'm waiting that wait with them. So it was an eye-opener for how Israel is, it's so turbulent always, and you really don't know what to expect. But also, as crazy as it sounds, how Israel is still a safe space for Jewish people.
The Media Line asked these students how they felt, knowing they were at the end of a massive disinformation campaign.
I think the problem is that we have so much reasoning and information to share and explain this background, and I think that when we try and explain it to people who don't fully understand maybe Israel or the Middle East, it can get very confusing. We need to make it in a way that students can see this is not just a bunch of statistics. This is real people who live in a real country, and we need to humanize Israel. We need to humanize Israelis.
One student feels as though community and what she calls coalition building is the answer.
As time goes on and the dust settles a little, we want to turn on our brains and not only our hearts and say, how do we use our knowledge, our history, and our understanding of that in the world on a wider frame at large, of how to find allyship and find coalition building. Allies truly do feel like they want to be allies and they want to become vocal and stand with us, even when it's a choice, even when they don't need to, because they have a connection with a Jewish person with a strong Jewish identity.
For these students, Jewish allyship is crucial.
Forming those relationships is truly what's going to make someone say, oh, well, this person I know is Jewish, and this is how Israel's affected them, and it'll come naturally from them and from those allies.
As diaspora Jews and Israelis shared common experiences dealing with anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias, the common appreciation of Israel also brought answers.
Progressives in America who believe that because Israel insists on being a Jewish state, we have all these problems with the world terrorism. If only Israel will agree to be the state of all the citizens, there will be no problems. They don't realize, or they don't want to realize, that there is no way for Israel to engage exile and to exist in the Middle East if it is not a Jewish state.
From the World Zionist Organization in Jerusalem, I'm Natan Klabin reporting for the Media Line.